to the Pulse of Spokane. Join us for the latest in news, views, and conversation with community leaders. The Pulse of Spokane is brought to you in part by Homes for You and CW Crates and Pallets. Now, put your finger on the Pulse of Spokane.
Welcome to the Pulse of Spokane. Kent Adams here. Hope you're having a great week. Take off my reading glasses and put on my bifocals. Welcome to being almost 73, right? Hey, we've got a really interesting program today. My first guest is going to be Wendy Moore. She's with an organization, a company that is called Dementia Prevention Northwest. And I find it quite interesting because dealing with a father and his three sisters who had either Alzheimer's or dementia, it's in the family. So we're going to ask some very personal and good questions with her. And then Jeff Thompson with Panic Button. What's Panic Button? Well, you'll have to stay tuned to watch. Next on the Pulse of Spokane, right after the weather.
Good afternoon, Spokane. Today we have some clouds over us with a high of 60 degrees. It will be in the 60s and getting very sunny as we hit the 70s during the weekend. During nighttime, we are going to see the temperatures drop down a little to the high 30s and 40s with clouds overhead. Some clouds over in Coeur d'Alene today with a high of 58 and a low of 34, and also some clouds in the valley with a high of 57 and a low of 35.
The following is sponsored by our friends and community supporters at McNeese Wheeler Attorneys. McNeese Wheeler is a boutique law firm in Spokane, handling matters in both Washington and Idaho. Areas of law include business law, wills, trusts and estates, family law, personal injury and wrongful death, and real estate matters. For your full-service legal needs, contact McNeese Wheeler Attorneys.
I'm Nikki Butler, and I'm a regional manager for STCU. My lunch buddy is Nicole.
I'm Brandy Schloss. I'm a regional manager at STCU. My lunch buddy is Angelina. She's grown up with me. I've grown up with her. To see her graduate will be a lot of fun.
Brandy and I have been lunch buddies since the girls were in second grade. It's great that STCU provides me with the opportunity to be part of Reach for the Future. We are committed to the children. We're committed to our community. I'm Nikki.
I'm Brandy.
And STCU is here for good.
This is River Ridge Frame Shop, called Frame It Today, where we can take your art, customize it, and get it ready to hang on the wall. Here at River Ridge Hardware, 2803 West Garland.
Well, welcome back. It's the last day of April. I was talking to someone this morning and mentioned, well, next month, and they reminded me, Kent, that's tomorrow. Okay, welcome to How Fast Things Go. Wendy Moore with Dementia Prevention Northwest. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me here today.
And you can remember, right? So
Yes.
you don't have dementia yet?
No, not yet.
Okay. I mentioned in the opening tease that it's affected my family. Our next guest mentioned that it's affected his family. More and more folks I talk to are saying that. I'm hearing that more often. Let's start out with a little bit of your background for a minute or so, and then let's talk to explain how you got to where you are, and then let's talk about the issue of dementia and Alzheimer's. There is a difference. They're related, but there's a difference. I learned a lot from our discussion last week. So a little bit about you, Wendy.
Okay, well, when I was 18 years old, I'd moved out of the state to Oregon, and I had to find a job and wasn't quite sure what I was going to do. And my husband had told me that, well, you need to go work in a nursing home because you're really good with older people.
Okay.
Because he had a really good friend that was older, and I was constantly helping her. And I'm like, I don't think I can do that. And he's like, well, I think you need to. So I went in, I became a CNA, and I worked in dementia care.
Okay.
And later
Was that an eye-opener for you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Your eyes opened when I asked you that, too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
welcome to the real world out there, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a hard place to be, hard thing to watch.
Right.
And I didn't stay over there that long, and,
Okay.
and I came back to Spokane, and I decided, well, I better get back to work in that because I'm a CNA, so I'll go
Right.
back to what I
Right.
know.
Right.
And the first nursing home I went to, my great-grandmother was there.
Oh, fun.
And, well, she had
To a
dementia.
point. Yeah.
And so I had to take care of her for a while, and then I got pregnant, and I quit my job. I didn't want to do a lot of lifting, and in
No,
that job
no.
there's a lot of lifting.
Oh, yes, yes.
And turned out it wasn't much longer. I was still pregnant, as a matter of fact, that my grandmother got dementia.
Oh, no.
And so
Double
my
whammy.
family said, hey, it's not a hard job. Can you go over and take care of her? And so I did.
Right,
And
right.
that's just been kind of my theme throughout my life is taking care of people with dementia. And then after a while, it got to where that's what you were thinking constantly. I'm going to get dementia. It's in my
Yes.
family.
Yes.
I'm going to get it.
Yes.
And so I thought I was going to get out of it. And so I left that kind of work. And I got hired at Western Hearing Aid Center. And I've been there for 9 years.
Okay.
And
What? I'm kidding.
exactly. And so 5 or 6 years into it, I got a phone call from a gentleman by the name of Dave Larson, who was looking for people like hearing specialists, hearing scientists, audiologists,
People who deal with older people.
people who deal with older people and
Right.
who deal with hearing loss.
Yes.
Because dementia is so prevalent for people with hearing loss.
You know, I saw that this morning somewhere, an article about that, and you and I've talked about it, but I saw it in print today.
Yeah, it's in every
Yes.
magazine for older people.
Yeah.
It's everywhere.
That's probably why I saw it, because it was a magazine for older people.
Yeah, sorry.
Thanks. No,
Didn't
that's
mean
okay.
it that way.
I know.
but
I'm-
anyway, so I asked Brenda, who's the owner of Western Hearing
Mm-hmm.
Aid Center, if she would be interested in this. And unfortunately, but fortunately, she's very busy with her current patients
Sure.
that she has.
Sure.
And so for her to add that into what she does was just a little too much.
Yeah.
And for me, I was excited to hear that because I knew the minute that he called that was something that was for me.
Okay. Okay.
And so I asked him if I could do it, and he didn't really think that it was meant for a patient care coordinator.
Okay.
But when I told him my background, he said, actually, I think you're exactly what we
Yeah,
need.
no kidding.
And so I got into it, and I took the course, and I became a certified dementia prevention education specialist.
Okay. Well, that's a
And-
mouthful,
yeah,
isn't it?
it is. And that's through the American Brain Council. And I
Okay.
was one of the first in America to get it. And the first one in Washington. And I don't know if there's very many still in Washington. But
Okay. Okay.
That's what I got. That's how I ended up doing this.
Okay. So now you're doing that in conjunction with the Western Hearing Aid
Yes.
organization and
That's right.
company and all that. We talked about a lot of things about, let's maybe first start with the difference and the similarities between dementia and Alzheimer's, because most of us cross-mix all of that, don't we?
Yes, we
Yeah.
do. And it's easy to understand
Sure.
why, because a lot of times they don't really know that
Right.
it is dementia or Alzheimer's.
But what is the difference?
Well, there's lots of different dementias. There's an umbrella term,
Okay.
and that's dementia.
Okay.
And then there's different types of dementia underneath that, and one of
Okay.
them is Alzheimer's.
All right.
One
That
of
helps.
them-
That helps. I think clarify where it fits in the spectrum, if you will.
Right,
Okay.
right. And so then you can get like vascular dementia, dementia from cardiovascular disease. You can
Okay.
get dementia from, did I say diabetes? Diabetes.
Yeah,
There's lots of ways that you can get dementia.
Okay.
Not being able to absorb nutrients.
Okay.
There's lots of ways. So.
Yeah.
And Alzheimer's disease, you've got. It seems like Alzheimer's disease is the main is the main.
That's what I think
dementia.
most people talk about, right?
Right.
I mean, that's the.
And it is.
We're all waiting for that magical pill and everything else that goes through and that you see in the headlines today.
Right. Well, the problem with the magic pill is that there's so many different reasons for having dementia that it's hard to find the one magic pill that's going to take care of every
Right.
single thing.
It's kind of like cancer, if you will. There's not one solution to solving the cancer problems because there are a number of cancers out there.
Right.
And so we've got that problem. I keep hearing from people that, we're 5 years, 10 years off for this magic pill thing, and that's really not going to solve it for us, really, is it?
No. It might do something for specifically Alzheimer's disease,
Okay.
but it's not going to do something specific for dementia as a whole.
Yeah. Let's do this. I want to talk about some of the things that we can do to prevent and take care. And we talked about some things related to me
Okay.
and so forth. Let's take a break and come back, and we'll do that when we come back. Is that okay?
Yep, that's
All right.
great.
We'll be right back after this.
Well, this is Blooms Day in Spokane. We got about 40 firefighters and their friends and family handing out 40,000 cups of water as the day goes by.
It's a very good opportunity to see the public and support them and help them out and cheer them on during Blooms Day.
It's one of the best things about Spokane is that we have these major events and the whole community comes together not just to participate but to volunteer and show that they really care about our city and making our city look great.
This type of an event really is emblematic of Spokane because so many people get involved. We have 50,000 people probably running this race. Always has been a very huge event.
Right now we're at the corner of Broadway and Nettleton. It's the last water station before the finish, so people are pretty much dehydrated by the time they get to us. They really need our water.
The water stations are a vital part, especially on warm days like today. It's real important that we have the volunteers to help with that. Without the volunteers, Blooms Day wouldn't exist.
All up and down the course, there are people that are involved in this celebration. It really is a celebration of what Spokane's all about.
Well, welcome back, Wendy Moore. Before the break, you gave us some history and your experience, which is vast when you think about it, personally and professionally, which I think is great because you've got a stake in this thing, right?
Right.
You really do.
Yes.
And to help prevent. Speaking of prevention, let's talk about some of the things. I mentioned that my dad and his sisters had a form of that. I guess there are some tests to find out if that's a possibility in terms of what's going forward. I think I mentioned to you that the last set of all the tests that the doctors did and all of that came back and my cholesterol was back down and all of the things I was within the normal range, the PSA test and everything else that all of us and we guys have to do and so forth. The one area that I was low on was vitamin B supplement, I think is what it's called, right?
Vitamin B12.
B12, yes. Which, of course, ended up being an over-the-counter solution, which my doctor and I kind of laughed at. Of all the things, he didn't get to write a prescription. It was, you can go down to the Walgreens or wherever and buy it over the counter, which I did.
Right.
And I have seen from our discussion the other day, literally one article since then, how important that is to preventing some of the dementia and Alzheimer's.
Right.
Talk about that, will you? Because it fascinated me that there's something that can help at least postpone that for a while.
Well, so our brain needs a number of nutrients to
Yes.
stay healthy. And vitamin B12 is one of those. You need vitamin B12 in every cell of your body.
Okay.
It's what helps create energy.
Okay.
And so if
Yeah.
So if you're not getting the energy that your brain needs, then it can't supply what it needs
Okay.
to perform.
Okay.
And so when you're low on that, it's going to affect not only your brain, but every part of your
Yeah.
body because you need it.
So taking that really will help.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, it will
And
help.
it seems like such a simple answer.
Right.
One of several things. What other things can we do? Because as I talk with my friends and my peers, many of their parents, or they're worried about, again, it comes to Alzheimer's because that's the kind of the key word,
Right.
but dementia and so forth. What are some things that we can do to help improve our chances of at least postponing, if not solving it or preventing it?
Okay, well, how we got to the subject in the first place, I think, of you lacking vitamin B12
Yes.
was we were talking about medications.
Yes.
So, I would never tell anybody to quit taking any kind of medication,
right.
first and foremost, because I can't do that.
Right.
But I have been to many people's houses, one in particular, where she had a whole cabinet full of medication she was taking on a daily basis. And I do a risk assessment.
Okay.
And
okay.
when I go to their house, I have a big list of things that I go through, and I do this risk assessment. And one of them's going through their medication.
Okay.
And half of those medications, and she was probably on, 10 to 12.
An older lady?
She wasn't that old.
Oh, okay.
No, she wasn't that old. And so to see her on so
Were
many
these
medications.
prescriptions?
Yeah,
Or,
they were
okay.
all prescriptions. Yeah,
Ooh.
she was, probably 65.
Mm-hmm. That is young.
Yeah, that's young. She shouldn't be having
No.
that many medications, but she was on that many medications. And as I was going through them, I have a list of medications that, there's over 200 medications that can contribute to memory loss
Right.
and cognitive decline. So I was looking through, and over half of those had listed may cause confusion, may cause memory problems,
Okay.
and all of that.
So that might be pushing her into the problem faster.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Wow.
And a lot of things are really easy to take care of, like antacids. So
Okay.
people take antacids on a daily basis, and what that does is it depletes your vitamin B12, and that's how we started talking
yes,
about
okay.
that.
Right.
And so all she really had to do is take a supplement for that particular thing. But she was on so many different ones. What I had suggested is maybe to go back and talk to her doctor and find out if there were any of those that she could either get off of or switch to another one that didn't have that side effect.
Okay.
Because there are a list of over 200 anti-choline drugs,
Okay.
and there's a lot of those out there for depression and muscle cramps and things like that people take.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's that. Hearing loss is a big one.
What? I did it again.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
So if you have mild hearing loss,
Okay.
you're twice as likely to get dementia.
Really?
If you have moderate hearing loss, you're 3 times more likely to get hearing loss.
I don't want to know where you're going with this. Okay.
So if you have severe hearing loss,
Okay.
you're 5 times more likely to get dementia.
Wow.
And the reason is there's 2 things. First of all, if you can't hear and you're in a group of people, then you tend to withdraw.
Yes. Yes.
People don't want to talk if
And they don't want to
can't-
repeat themselves.
They don't want to repeat
over
themselves.
and over again.
They don't
right?
want to ask, "What'd you say? What'd
Yeah,
you say?"
yeah, no.
And then they get depressed because they're withdrawing.
Yeah.
And then
They're
they
out of the loop.
isolate themselves. And that is a vicious circle. And then the other thing is that you're straining to hear what people are saying, and that overworks the brain when you're doing that. So those are a couple of the reasons why.
Wow.
So it's really, really important to get a hearing test, just so you know where you're at, so that you can take care of it. And that's why the
And
American...
you're scheduling one for me, aren't you?
That's right, yep. And that's why the American Brain Council
Okay.
was searching out people who were in the hearing industry to become dementia prevention specialists.
Yes, yeah, because there's a path
That's right.
that goes that direction.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. What other things can we do?
Okay, so you can eat healthier. I know people don't like to hear that.
Oh, come on.
But
All right,
sugar,
her time is up. I'm kidding.
Sugar is really horrible for
Yeah,
your
I know
brain.
you said that the other day.
Yeah, it is. And really there's a couple of diets that people can go on that are the Mediterranean diet and a DASH diet, and those are basically where you're looking at a rainbow of fruits and vegetables, eating,
It comes back to what we've heard all along, doesn't it?
It does. It
really does, yeah.
Eating fish 3 times a week diminishes your chance of getting dementia 60%.
Wait. 3 times a week will reduce my chance of getting dementia by 60%.
That's right.
That's a no-brainer. Excuse the pun. Okay, yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
Because
So
you're
between
getting the
that-
omega-3s in there that your brain
Between
really
that
needs.
and my B12 supplement, I should be okay then.
Well, there's a lot more.
Oh, I was afraid you were going to say that.
So if you're
Party pooper.
I know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you're getting the nutrients that you need,
Yeah.
but you're not moving around, you're sitting around, not doing much, not getting out, going for walks, not
Okay.
getting any kind of exercise, then the nutrients isn't going to get to your brain like it needs to.
Oh, really?
You're
Okay.
not going to absorb it.
Yeah.
So really you need to get some exercise in. At least 20 minutes a day if you can, 3 to 5 times a week.
I see a lot of folks my age and older out doing, now that the weather is getting better, in the morning and in the afternoon, the walks. Is that good?
Oh,
is that enough
definitely.
exercise?
Well, it can be.
It can be, especially for people who maybe have sore legs and knees and things like that.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But really, you want to do some resistance as well.
Okay.
So if you have anything at home, bands or some kind of
Right.
barbells or something
Right.
that you can do to just get a little bit of that resistance, that also helps a lot.
We only have a minute or so left. Let's talk about one of the things that I found quite fascinating is that you do some talk and presentations about this. And how can people get more information, and what is it that you basically say there? What's the purpose of that?
Okay, so when I do talks or classes, we have a place at Western Hearing Aid Center that we do that.
Okay, and where is that?
Oh, that is on North Division.
Okay.
It's 1912 North Division
Oh,
on the
okay.
corner of Indiana and Division.
Okay,
And
okay.
Brenda also does free hearing tests too,
Okay,
so
okay.
people can see where they're at.
Yes.
But I do the classes there, and I
okay.
teach about everything that you can do to prevent it, and
Wow.
show some exercises and all of that. And,
What's the cost to attend that?
$20. It's pretty inexpensive.
Yeah, no kidding.
Right.
$20, well invested for your future.
Right.
Really? I
Yes.
mean, that's great. How often do you do them?
Well, I do them as often as needed.
Oh, okay.
So when
okay.
I get somebody who's interested
So
in
maybe
it, well,
once a week, and then sometimes every couple a month, that kind of thing. Just
right,
depends.
Exactly.
Okay.
And we do them on Friday afternoons.
Okay. Okay. Great. Wow, I've learned so much. How can people get in touch with you? Because I personally find this very fascinating, as you know, but I think there are others watching going, my husband, my wife, my friend, my sister or brother might need to pay attention to this. How
Sure.
can they reach you? Because this is very valuable.
So they can call Western Hearing Aid Center at 509-328-6731.
Okay.
And then they can tell me if they want a class, or we're doing some special programs now, so I can work and be like their brain health coach.
Okay.
And so I can work with them one-on-one. I can go to their home and
I was
talk
going to
to
say, this
them.
is when you go to their home and evaluate.
That's
and,
right.
And you look around, not only in the cupboard for prescriptions, but other things that may give you signs of where they're headed and so forth.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. Wendy, thank you.
No, thank you.
This is really helpful information. I hope you've learned too. Again, the phone number is
328-6731.
All right, give her a call and set up something. We'll be right back to talk, no panics involved, but a panic button with Jeff Thompson right after this.
The economy is getting stronger. Banks are lending again, and interest rates are at historic lows. Now is a great time to buy your dream home. The caring and knowledgeable professionals at Homes for You have been helping people just like you for over 20 years. They take the time to listen to what you want and will help you find just the right home in Washington or Idaho. Real estate is what we do at Homes for You, 928-5782, or visit online at homes4uspokane.com.
Welcome to a new kind of talk show, Spokane Talks, where you find news, views, and conversations that include respect for opinions, facts, and diversity.
Spokane Talks, Saturdays at 8 a.m. on Fox 28.
O'Brien Logistics would like to invite you to try our local and regional transportation services. With Sprinter vans, lift gates, hot shot flatbeds, and expedited services, our people are ready to step in and help with your transportation needs. Our services are 24/7, 365, and we are trained and prepared to handle air cargo and Canadian shipments. Give us a call at 208-305-2311 or visit our website at o'brienlogistics.net. That's OBRIEN logistics.net.
Well, welcome back to the Pulse of Spokane. Kent Adams here, if I can say my own name. Jeff Thompson with Panic Button. Now, this is not the panic button that you give old people that they press the button and call for help, is it?
No, it's not.
Okay, well, before we get into what it is, let's talk about your background. What's your background?
My background, Spokane native, born and raised.
Okay.
School here out in the valley.
Okay.
I spent 17 years at a manufacturing company called Hot Start here in Spokane.
Yes.
Fantastic company. I still have a lot of friends that work there. But it became apparent a few years ago that I have 4 kids. So
okay.
And being on the sales side, being gone a lot, it was
That's tough. That's
difficult.
tough if you're on the road. It really is.
It was. So time to make a change, and so I've always loved technology, always been fascinated with it, always enjoyed it. So it was a nice, easy transition to go into technology. So Panic Button is an IT service provider.
Okay. And explain that to old people like me, what that means and what you do.
So that what I do ranges anything from, I have clients that are private individuals that just need some help with a tune-up on their PC.
Okay.
To clients that are in healthcare that, maybe a clinic that has 50, 60 users.
Right.
Where we manage the domain, the entire networked environment for them.
Okay.
For maintenance, user support.
So you host their domain and all of that as well?
No, that'll be on premise most of the time.
Okay.
But we'll manage that for them.
Okay, to make sure it's always running smoothly, and all of us are always adding something, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And usually fouling things up.
That's it. I mean, there's always the human factor, so things can get moved up
well, at
pretty
least
easy.
you consider me human. That's, I guess, good. I might mess up the electronics, but yeah. Isn't that the truth, though? Because it only takes one little mistype that can mess things up, and you can't find it, right?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
I mean, I do it myself all the time.
Oh, no.
Especially not paying attention, going back and forth. Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Especially going back and forth on different people's keyboards.
Yes.
Everything is always kind of
different. A little different in the size and so forth.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now, how do you check up on people? You have a number of clients going on, so you're automatically checking that? Is the software checking that, and you're just seeing the problems? Or are you going in manually every so often?
That's pretty good. I mean, it's a combination of all of those.
Okay.
I mean, so I have a ticket system that we work off that if and when there is an issue that users can.
Like I do to my guy, hey, would you check on this? And then
exactly. Okay. I'm having a problem doing this. This doesn't work anymore. I can't find this. Can you help me out?
Okay.
And then we also have systems in place that will actually monitor like things like network health, system health, and will alert us hopefully before there's a problem. We can get in there and fix it. And
okay. Now, are most of your clients bigger when you talked about like 40 or 50 or 60? Are they small businesses as well? I mean, who do you work with?
They range.
Okay.
Anyone, a good segment of my clients are in the healthcare.
Okay.
So they're either a provider or.
But you've learned a lot about healthcare, haven't you?
I have, and yes, I have, and I've learned a lot about data security and things like that, and privacy. So.
Yeah.
But I have, I've been referred out to. I have a client that she's over 90 years old. She does a lot of genealogy for her family. That's important to her.
Fun.
And to do that, she needs the technology. And she's very savvy and discounts herself a lot, but occasionally gets herself into some trouble and needs some help. So anyone from the private individual.
So you get this ticket from her saying, Jeff, help, right?
I usually get a phone call.
Oh,
usually,
okay.
I'm not going to do the ticket. I'm just going to call them. So, and I always loved talking to her, too. So.
Yeah. Give us one or two things that we should think about with our own computers, whether it be at home or a small business, that we can help manage things better and prevent some of the problems. Because it seems like we're all getting attacked constantly these days. Am I right or wrong?
You're absolutely right. I mean, they're finding out some pretty unique ways to do it now.
Yes.
Updates are very, very important. Those we'll go out there and they patch the security holes, things like that.
Okay.
We want to make sure they're taken care of.
But you got to make sure it's from the right people.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's fairly obvious for the most part, to keep your operating system updated, your antivirus updated.
Right.
And then a pet peeve of mine is just keeping things organized.
Okay.
Kind of have a system that you do that, and that's my first recommendation to a lot of my clients is making sure that when you're filing your data, that you're putting it in a way that's very organized, methodical, so that you can go back and get to it again. A lot of times, I can't tell you how many times I've been called out that, hey, I deleted this file, I can't find this anymore. Maybe it's even their QuickBooks file.
Yeah.
And they can't do their books.
Well, what was the name of it? I don't know.
Yeah, and it's always been right here.
Yeah.
Well, they inadvertently deleted or dragged it and dropped it somewhere else.
Yeah.
So just having things in a very methodical, systematic fashion really helps out.
I'm smiling because how many times I've taken things and I'll put them on the desktop to work on and that sort of thing. So if I go somewhere and come back, it's right there.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that was what I was working on. And I come back and then I'll put it away somewhere. And I apparently put it away in another file. I'm sure I'm the only one that ever does that.
Yeah, I've never had that one before.
Oh, okay.
And I've certainly never done it.
Oh, right. Oh, Lord. It is hard to keep up sometimes with all of the new technology and so forth. I noticed I got a call. I've been getting calls this last week or two from Microsoft about calling a special number to get updated or something like that. That's got to be bogus, right?
Yes, those are always phishing. Microsoft is never going to call you.
Yeah.
If anything, Microsoft.
Well, heck, with all these things these days, you can't talk to a real person, right?
It is. I mean, that's a challenge, and that's kind of what they're betting on is that if they can't get to a real person, they're just going to say, or believe that this is legitimate.
Right.
I mean, I've had my dad do it. My dad called my dad just on a whim, and he said, "I'm going down to get a cashier's check for this guy that has my data and says I need to get the key from him, and he only accepts cashier's checks." And I said, no, let me come out there.
Yeah.
2 weeks later, I happened to call him again. He's doing the exact same thing. I'm like, okay.
Sometimes our dads don't listen.
This is probably not very good advertising because my own dad doesn't call me, but it was like it happens to anybody, really. I mean,
that's true. That really is, and I think it's a good example because it happens sometimes to us and to those close to us.
Right.
That we don't think about the obvious. Well, I'll call my son and he'll take care of this.
That's it.
So
you kind of always be on the offensive and just kind of aware, cognizant.
How can people get in touch with you for your service?
They can reach me on the website, panicbuttonit.com.
Okay.
There's a messenger link there. You can email.
Okay.
You can call the office. The number is 509-960-2511.
Okay.
We usually have a 24-hour response time or less.
Okay.
Try to get in inside of 4 hours, but not always possible. But
well, sometimes life gets in the way too, right?
It does.
And there's a lot of panic buttons. Do you still have kids at home?
I have 4 kids at home.
Okay, so sometimes sports gets in the way too.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's honestly more important than the clients, but we don't tell them that. Okay.
Yes.
I know. Okay. Well, they didn't hear anything.
I probably shouldn't be bashful about that.
No, I know. No, let's revel in the fact that we care about our kids and grandkids and all of that. I think that's important. Well, Jeff, thank you. This is great information. Again, it's panicbuttonit.com.
Correct.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Great information.
My pleasure.
Hey, thanks for watching. We'll be back tomorrow with another lineup on the Pulse of Spokane at 12 noon. Have a great day, everybody.
The Pulse of Spokane is produced in Spokane, Washington by SpokaneTalksMedia.com, which is solely responsible for its content. The Pulse of Spokane is brought to you in part by Homes for You and CW Crates and Pallets. Ask Kent a question, recommend a guest, or hear this program again on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or SpokaneTalksMedia.com.